because I don't really have anything to A train. But I'll figure something out in the next one. I'm sorry?
Where do you film? Where would you film that?
We're going to be filming that next year. You can go to the website, though, world.with.
But like where?
Texas, North Texas.
Oh.
Where I'm at.
That's cool. Oh, I thought you lived in New York.
No, I lived in LA for 8 years before I moved here 3 years ago to help my mom.
I don't know where I heard that.
Central Standard Time. That's Midwest, Texas, Oklahoma, that kind of thing. All right, let's do it then. I'll see you guys in a minute.
All right.
Okay, let me know when I'm going to share it, so let me know when you got the live video going. Oh. They're hearing us, man. You gotta let me know that. All right, guys. So we're live. Let's go. Put us in there. Okay, you guys. Of course, my name is JD Glasscock. I'm with my co-host Mark Potter. As I said earlier, he is my Spock to good old Captain Kirk over here. And then, of course, the star that has more fans than either him and I combined, Lola. Lola, beautiful Lola. All right, guys. Hey, we got some great guests tonight. First, this would be the spot once we start having sponsors. This would be the part where I would sit there and announce your product or promote your business. If you believe in what we're doing and want to be a part of what we're doing, and you own a business and you'd like to sponsor the show, please contact Mark, and Mark will get a hold of you with that information. We have some amazing guests next week. We have John C. Hogwood representing theater. It'll be my first theater guest, and he's done theater for a couple decades and one of the most well-known theater actors in Dallas, DFW area. So you'll get to take a peek inside the world of theater. Also, Madeline Rosine, who's an up-and-coming singer-songwriter, can rap, can do it all, real young, but very, very, very talented. She has music videos you can go watch, all that stuff. She's going to be our other guest next Thursday. And then me and Mark are going to take a break for a week on the 27th for our holidays. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be back on January 3rd. Again, you guys, thank you so much for all of your support. It's been going great. What are we on, episode 5? And it's only going to get better and better and better and better and better. So it's very beautiful that you have done so. We are still working on a way for fans to donate to what we're doing to help us, because we really got nothing behind us except a dream and some gumption to do it. We'll keep bringing you amazing artists of all styles and types every week. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. Who do you want to introduce first? And then I'll
let's go ahead and introduce Brent Anthony.
Okay. Wow. Brent is young. He's young. I think he's 14, 15, but he has already done a decade of acting. He's landed some great roles. He's on the rise. He's got so many dreams and aspirations, and he's chasing them. He's putting action to the dream. You can be a dreamer, but if you don't put action, then those dreams are going to stay dreams. So dream and do. And that is Brent Anthony. So let's bring him aboard. What's up, Brent?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
I just gave you the rock daddy introduction, man.
Oh, get it.
All right, guys. So let's bring on our other guest, Tessa Romero, who's a beautiful girl, very talented, very great spirit, and has strong aspirations to not only be an actress, but to be in great films and work on great films. I told her that's number one, man. Make sure the script is good. And I'm going to help her along with that. I'm going to introduce her to actually a friend of mine. She's in Minnesota, a friend of mine, Nicole Crooks, done some amazing horror films and other feature films, producer-wise and directing-wise, up in Minnesota. So let's bring in Tessa. Hey, Tessa.
Hi.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Good.
Man, I love all your tats. Your tats are awesome. We'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
I think tats are beautiful, and especially it denotes comfortability, I guess, within yourself. And we talked about that before. But thank you for coming on. She short notice came and helped us out, allow us to shine our shine on her and put our light on her so people can get to know her. But she also helped us out and she shined her light on us personally. So it's a mutual love fest. Anyway, you guys, I want to first of all say thank you. This is episode 5. We're moving along, chugging along. Give us a year, and this thing is going to be blown up. But the great thing about it is it's recorded, so you guys can use it for your own self. I'm going to start off with Brent. Brent, tell us about something you either just worked on or something you are working on that you're passionate about.
Well, I got a couple things which I'm actually really proud and happy about. So a couple months ago, I went to New Jersey, filmed a film called Hunter's Anthology. So that was really awesome. Let's see.
What was the purpose of that?
What was the purpose?
The premise?
Well, I played a bully, and it's about a guy who hunts demons. It's a series, so it's gonna be real cool. It's yet to air, so yeah. Let's see.
It's a television series, fantasy.
Yes. Yeah.
Mythos. And then where's that going to air on?
It hasn't been bought yet, so we're just waiting to see.
So it's being shot. That's cool, though.
Yeah.
They shot the pilot episode. It's a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So what else were you going to reference?
Fish Head. I've also played a bully. Just, big.
Is this a typecast that's going on?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, say, hey, buddy, hero. I got hero with me too, man.
Yeah. Bam, bam. Should take off my shirt. People would love that.
Yeah. I had that same idea of doing a show in a sumo, but that's a lot better of it.
Have to gain a bunch of weight and still have muscles.
Yeah, well, no, because I'm 47, so I would be not only with my whiteness blinding the entire nation, they would not be seeing muscles. But anyway, so both shows have been recent?
Yes, very recent. The thing I'm about to film, which I'm so excited for, actually in a couple days, it's called Water Dog. And
wait, save that one because I'm going to come back with something.
Oh, save that one? Save that one. All right.
And I know you said you've been working since, you've been acting since you were 4. Did you start in theater or was it TV as well? Or?
I started in like print and stuff, so like modeling and stuff. But I booked my first film, which was Sex Spot. That was awesome opportunity to work that, and that's where I started off from. Very cool.
All right, the lovely Tessa. I know you have hunger and aspirations. How long have you has the aspiration to act been going on?
Well, I started acting when I was about 4, actually. I was in theater and singing. I sang before I could talk and played piano for a long time too. So
very beautiful.
Yeah, and my mom used to make me audition for a bunch of stuff in like Albuquerque Little Theater, and I was in girls choir, and every time that I was around people, I was doing something extravagant and crazy. So
acting was a big thing for you. It's always been a passion. Music.
I don't know. I've always been into it and loved singing and dancing and putting on shows. My first play that I directed was a nativity scene in my living room. My cousin wouldn't sit still though and be baby Jesus, so I was pretty upset.
How old were you then?
I was about 6, I want to say.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so is there a particular genre of film that draws you, like that you would like to act in?
I love horror. I know it's weird. I'm not very good at watching it, but I love being scary.
Very cool. You're not good at watching it, but you like to watch it because you like getting scared.
Yeah, and I like being freaked, like weird, I guess. I don't know. I like
That's a major part of most of existence, a dichotomy between two things. And so, yeah, especially with artists. But very beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna call, like I told you before, I'm gonna contact Nicole probably either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll let her know to get a hold of you. And we talked about this before, just being hungry. You want to act, be hungry. You got to just go make it happen. And I already know that you're already making those choices and movements, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked the other day. So it's just one step at a time, man. Just keep going after it. There are, no matter where you live out there, and this is to the fans of the show or people watching, no matter where you are, I guarantee you, Google, Facebook, City, film, and there'll be some film group there that you can go to and network. And if you want to do something, get up, stand up, start walking, do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's ways of doing it. So making it happen. Okay, so let's go back. We're going to go back to Tessa. We'll start with Tessa this time. And then we'll come back to Brent. What is I mean, I kind of know the answer to this, but what would be something in the near future that you really would be hungry for and want to do?
Probably a modeling project, like a I don't know, something artsy and crazy.
Like Model Mayhem type thing?
Yeah. I don't know.
So artsy, but quirky and edgy.
My first immediate deal.
I think you froze for a second there.
Oh,
That's cool. Well, if you can get on Model Mayhem, I guarantee you in your area, there's probably some great photographers that would probably make that happen. I always say there's always a path. You're trying to do something, there's always a immediate path you can start stepping down as long as you put some energy out and hunt it down. Now, Brent, let me know back to what you were trying to tell me before. What's the project coming up that you want to roll in?
A water dog?
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, that one I'm really excited for. Like I said, so filming in a couple days. It's a horror film, so you'd probably like this. So I play a character called Bradshaw. He's kind of.
I was gonna say, just don't tell me bully again.
Yeah, no, I'm the leader.
Yeah, very cool.
So I play a supporting role, and pretty much someone gives this guy psychedelic drugs, water dog, the story's name, and he gives it to funeral home people. So it's a party, and they give it to the dead, and the dead come to life, and that's
okay. So
I think that's all I can give you.
Yeah,
not too much.
Yeah, there you go, man.
And there's a twist on it, and there's a twist. So
well, there's got to be a twist.
Oh yeah,
good film. There's got to be a twist. Now, Tessa, where Brent? You're in LA, right?
Yes.
Okay. I spent a large part of my life in Southern Cal, but I was born and raised in Orange County, Costa Mesa.
Oh, yeah, I know where that is.
But I left right after high school, and then I came back in I think 2000. Well, I came back in '95 back to Orange County, left in 2000 to Seattle, and then in 2009 moved back to Los Angeles to focus on film, and then left again 3 years ago to here in North Texas. But it's an interesting place. Where are you? You in the valley, or are you on the other side?
Santa Clarita. Do you know where that's at?
Yeah, just north of where I used to live. I used to live in Sylmar.
Oh, okay. So it's near Burbank. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's north of Burbank, so right before you go into the pass. But anyway, now you used to be in New Mexico. Now, how long you been in Minnesota?
About 4 years now. I lived in New Mexico, then I lived in California.
Okay, you just froze again. So there you go. So I missed that. So you lived in California.
Yeah, I lived in New Mexico. I left, and then I moved in California, and then I moved here after I got divorced. So. Yeah.
And you have one or two little ones?
I actually have 4 little ones.
4 little ones. Very cool. Yeah, you started young because you are young.
I'm super young. Yeah, I got married at 18, so.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'm sure they are very artistic, creative, beautiful little ones.
I didn't hear you.
Can you hear us?
Now I can. You're back.
Okay. Yeah, we got some freezing issues, but this is part of what's going to happen when you're trying. We talked about this before. The whole point of the show is to have these interviews through with people all over the world through using Facebook Live. So anytime you're going to do that, there's always going to be a little bit of a hiccup here, but we will juggle it, and then Mark will figure it out, and then we work. Now, what would be what is a? I'm going to do this because I'm going to do a different question on the second half that I've been doing. So I'll throw this in the first half. We'll start with Brent. What is a film you have seen in the last year and a half that you thought was brilliant, and then why?
Okay. Well, I think I'd have to say my favorite film, which is, well, actually, was that it? You said year and a half, right?
Yeah, 2 year, year and a half, 2 years. What's the best film you've seen in the last couple of years?
In my opinion, it's probably Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite.
The first one?
Both of them. I really love them both.
Okay, the first one I thought was brilliant. The second one,
I don't know why I get. I just don't, because it seems like that one's more layered. There's like more to it, more emotion.
They were trying to replicate what they did with the first one instead of just focusing on writing the script. I think they were like, there was a studio head above them going, wait, no, we got to have that kind of humor, that kind of humor, that kind of humor. I think they spent a little too much time. I thought there was brilliant parts of the second one. I thought there was still characters. I thought there was great moments in that film, but it just seemed like they were trying too hard to just replicate the first one instead of, so that they kind of like, we got to take this and go to the next level. Take that, whatever work they thought worked in the first one, they tried to do it again and then take it to some exponential level.
Instead of just worrying about the script.
Huh?
Instead of just worrying about the script and making.
Yeah, instead of just writing the next part of the story.
Yeah.
Focus on the story and quit worrying
So
about.
you're just like saying that they tried to put more pressure and climax to the second one.
What they did is they literally, I think, just riddled the script apart, went back and said, this is what everyone liked, this is what everyone liked, this is what everyone liked. Go do that and make it better in the next one, instead of just naturally writing the next script. I mean, to me, it's a story, so just focus on telling the rest of the story.
Okay.
Instead of trying to make some formula thing. This is where I think sometimes big studios falter, because they have this accountant mentality that people at the top, and sometimes they tell people to do formula type stuff instead of just, every movie that ever blows up is usually them just telling a great story.
Right.
They weren't trying to create a formula. They weren't trying to do anything like that. They were just telling the story, and the story was brilliant and brilliantly acted, brilliantly shot usually, and then it blows up. And then they think it's a formula that the writer or whoever followed, and it wasn't. They were just creating art.
Okay.
But I did like that first one. I thought rocked. It was very innovative, very original.
I was really let down for Infinity War. I was literally looking at this. I almost like shook my friend. I did actually shake my friend. And when I left, I yelled, "What? Why?" I don't know if you saw it.
It was a two-parter. You mean the way it ended?
What?
You mean the way it ended?
Yeah.
Well, it was always a two-part film, so you have to end it.
Well, yeah, but my favorite character died. I'm like, no, it can't end this way.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for you though, because I mean, I read the original graphic novel series, comic book series that's based on. So,
Yeah.
But let's move to the beautiful Tessa over here. A dreamer in the midst of dreaming. Hey Tessa, it's your turn. What's the best film you've seen in the last couple of years?
Probably Deadpool.
Deadpool, the original first one or the second one?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for
Same thing, man. The same thing on Deadpool, in my opinion. First one was amazing and brilliant, and then the second one again had great moments, but then they tried to do the formula thing of like.
Right, and see, I love horrible jokes to the point where like I was just so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so funny, and then I got there and I laughed, and I was partially just giddy in the first place.
I mean, believe me, I love what they're doing. I love what they did with that and did with Logan. They're showing rated R superhero films with little to no filter, have a giant audience of people that want to see them.
Right.
Superhero films do not have, I think Watchmen really started that, but superhero films do not have to be PG.
Right. I love that. I think that's why I like them so much. And I also agree with what you're saying with the punchlines. And I actually was disappointed. I was going to bring up The Hobbit for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, the first one is brilliant because the writer and director and actors were just trying to tell a story. They weren't trying to match a formula.
Right. And with The Hobbit, I felt like.
But then the studio, who at first maybe doesn't put as much pressure on because it's the first one, now all of a sudden they made a ton of money off of it, and then they have a bunch of pressure on them to go, okay, and they start putting hands on directors and writers and telling them what to do.
Right, yeah.
Didn't do in the first one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then, but those guys that's the hardest part of what I found in filmmaking. You'll meet people with power or people with money or in control of the money that thinks that makes them an artist and a talented artist.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, that's usually not the case unless you got like Tarantino as the one that's giving you money for a film or something. Instead of just letting them do their own thing and the magic that they created with the first one.
Did anybody feel that way about Star Wars? No.
Oh,
okay.
Oh my God, I am so big of a fan.
Because that was supposed to be a continuation from Return of the Jedi. Instead, what they did is some weird, tricked out reboot.
Yeah, I hated that. So I was so disappointed.
Like it was supposed to be a continuation, and instead they like just went and said, okay, guy in the desert with a robot, or woman in the desert, basically Jedi in the desert with a robot, and then Death Star again, and then
yeah, it was like, oh my God, I walked out of there and I was like, I do not know what happened. I was so and I don't know if it was because my friend snuck beer in and he was being loud or what, but oh my God, I was just I had such high hopes, and I do that every time I go into a movie, and then I just come back and I'm just like, I should have waited.
I heard that Lucas was so irritated, but he had signed when he sold it to Disney or whatever, he wasn't allowed to ever say anything negative about what they were doing. But I heard in his private circles he was completely ticked off about the whole premise of the series. And then Luke Skywalker actually, Mark Hamill actually, I guess, had issues during the shooting of and SAG going, "What did you do to Luke Skywalker, man?"
Yeah.
No,
didn't like the whole entire trajectory of the entire
world we live in.
No,
and it was my first tattoo too, so I had like extremely high hopes. I was just like, man, let down.
Yeah, again though, I think it's because you had the studio interfering with and then Abrams is a very studio director. He's a very like whatever the studio wants, that's what he's gonna do.
Right.
I think Spielberg was the one that kind of groomed him. He was like an assistant of Spielberg's, and then he moved up. But Brent, what did you think of Star Wars, buddy?
The newest one you're talking about?
Well, the newest grouping, yes.
I didn't really enjoy it. I mean,
like 3 of them out now, right? The Han Solo.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one. I mean,
the Rebel one, the Rebel whatever one.
That was good.
I saw that.
Right?
I like that one.
The Rebel one.
I don't know if I saw that one. I'm not sure.
Well, I think it's because it was Umbrella. It wasn't the main part, so I think that they let them have a little more freedom. They were creating the Rebel one because the storyline was a little stronger, the more cohesive.
That was before 4.
I don't know. I used to be a big Star Wars fan. I used to watch the movies and play the video game on PS4, and then I just kind of lost it. I don't really like them anymore. I see them. I still see them with my friends, of course, because
I think the best ones were the original 3. I mean, that was
my favorite character by far was what's his name? It was Luke's mentor.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Luke's mentor was Yoda.
Or Yoda?
Oh no, it was Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know what I was thinking. That was my
yeah.
favorite, and then he died. So then I lost it. I'm like, you know what? You know what? My favorite character died. I'm just. You
Sometimes
lost.
that happens. You certainly don't want to watch Game of Thrones then.
Oh.
Because they'll be dying. And every time you like a character, George Martin goes, okay, people will like this guy, let me kill him. People will like this girl, let me kill him. Yeah, George R. R. Martin is like the king of killing off great. Have you watched Game of Thrones? You're kind of young, probably didn't watch.
No, partly because is it on Netflix? Do you know?
No, it's on HBO.
Yeah, I only have Netflix, and my mom probably would not let me see that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Nope.
definitely rated R TV series. Unfortunately, that's all I tend to write and shoot is rated R. So,
I mean, if I'm in it, I'll get to watch it. But if it's something like I've heard what happens in it, and I don't even think it would be like a film that like, I'm like, oh.
Well, they were the first 1 or 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons. They were way more risque and all that kind of stuff. Then it blew up so much and became such a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Product and toys and all that stuff that the last, I don't know, whatever it is, 4 or 5 seasons have been not so much violence, but the sexuality has been toned down like heavily. And because then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're making so much money, you got to like not be too or whatever. Where in the first couple season or two, they didn't even know if it was going to make it. So it had a lot of fans, but it hadn't totally blown up. I think what helped George R. R. Martin was there were so many fans of the books that when that came out and it was done exactly like the books, it blew up. So, but anyway, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go about. I'm gonna do a couple more subjects with each of you, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back. What would be your dream, since we're on the line of franchises, what franchise would you want to be more a part of as an actor than any other? And we'll start with Tessa. How would you envision yourself in that franchise?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
What's your favorite franchise ever? And then we'll figure it out.
You need some time?
Yeah, I do. Can you go first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brent.
Mine would 100% be Marvel, for sure.
Sure.
And I'd be the hero.
Would you envision yourself?
What?
What would you envision yourself being in that?
I'd be the hero. Or
I
like
get
specifically.
that, but there's a lot of heroes in Marvel.
Oh,
what
okay.
hero you think you could play that you think would fit in there?
Well, okay. I like probably Chris Pratt, probably Star-Lord.
No, Marvel is good. I could see you as Speedball.
Who's that?
Speedball? He's probably one of the new Warriors.
Is he in a comic book or is he
He's in a comic book, yes. Marvel.
I didn't read the comic books.
He was part of the New Warriors. It was a group of Marvel characters that kind of set off the whole, in the comic book, set off the whole Civil War because most of them die except for Speedball, trying to they kill a bunch of innocents, trying to take down 3 supervillains.
Huh.
Speedball was kind of like, I guess, a Marvel version of Flash. He could run fast and absorb kinetic energy.
Isn't I thought? Okay, no, never mind. I was
Flash is
about to say
DC.
something. I was about to say something really dumb.
So Marvel, you have Quicksilver, the guys that were like that, and
Quicksilver.
But then you also had Speedball was like that too, except he was a little different. He could bounce off stuff and absorb kinetic energy from it, and then release it. And then he ran super fast. And he was a teenager. He was only like 15, I think, in the comic book or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could play.
Talk very fast though. He like talking really, really fast. But anyway, okay. So Tessa, now it's your turn.
Okay, so I love Rob Zombie. So any of the movies he makes, I would totally be in.
Who?
Rob Zombie.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, he likes talking about killers.
Yeah, and then DC, but I'd be a villain, hands down. Any villain, probably.
Well, you could be Star Sapphire. You would probably fit that image.
Yeah.
Sapphire was the ex-lover of Green Lantern, and then she found her own power gem, but it was purple.
Okay. Yep. I think nope, that doesn't really ring.
She was in the cartoons as well.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
periodically.
I don't know. I'm a Batman psycho. Like I don't. Yeah. I'm weird, but yeah.
No, Batman's cool.
I love Batman. I think Superman is an asshole. I mean, a butthead. Excuse my language.
Right?
That's right, because you just saved my rear end, man, because my mom finally watched the first episode of one of our shows last week. You like this, Mark. So she called me to tell me that, and I said, oh, did you enjoy it? One time at like 45 minutes in, I said the F word. And the first thing out of her mouth was, why did you cuss? You didn't cuss. So, see, you just took that entire pressure off me.
You're welcome.
Episode she watches it because you've already cussed. She was all like, your guest didn't cuss. Why did you cuss? I'm like, stop. I'm like, did you at least enjoy the rest of the show, Mom? She's like, oh, yeah, it was great. But it doesn't matter how old you get, man. Moms are going to be moms, and they're going to say they're going to treat you like you're 8. And,
Except my mom.
What'd you say, Mark?
Except my mom. My mom
Except your mom?
supports me in everything I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when you're like young and swearing?
Yeah. I mean, right now I just don't know why. She just doesn't, she doesn't get onto me for swearing. and I swear like a sailor, so.
Well, it depends. I mean, my mom's born again Christian, was raised born again Christian, so she's got that indelicated into. So, but I mean, I don't mind it. I don't bother with it too much. I'm like, well, Mom, cuss. That's just something you'll have to live with and get through. Mm-hmm. I try not to do it all the time, but it happens. You guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 5-minute break now. And then let our guests take a breather, get some water, whatever it is. I'm so happy you both have been here. You guys are amazing. Brent Anthony, Tessa Romero, keep an ear out on both those names, because I guarantee you, in another 5 years, you will have seen them here first. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. Then we're going to come back with our roundtable roundup, where we just bring up subjects of life and then let our guests kind of input on what they think about it. Anyway, love to you all. And she hasn't been up very much, but there's Lola.
Hey, Lola.
Lola, the biggest star in the show.
Oh.
Mark, I guarantee you that. And we'll be back in 5 minutes, you guys. Peace and love, blessings.
Peace.
Okay, you guys, so you can take a 5-minute break, and then we'll pop back on to that second half of the show, okay?
Okay. All right.
having fun? Brent?
Good, yep. Just got some water. I'm all set for another 30 minutes. How long's the show?
It's going to be there permanently, so you can use it anytime you want. If you want to show directors or someone your presence or interviewing or whatever.
Say that again?
I said this will be up there permanently, and you can download it. So if you need to use it for yourself,
Thank you.
as soon as Mark and Tessa gets back, we'll get the show on the road. Uh-oh, Mark slicked his hair back. Uh-oh. Dude, the lightsaber usually pops up when Mark slicks his hair.
I have a lightsaber if you want to see it.
Oh, good. He has himself muted. People can hear us during the break, so be aware of that. Mark, you slicked your hair back. Is your Jedi outfit coming on now?
Have a Jedi outfit? Sorry.
I'm trying to do that with my big toe hair for my flip-flop game. I'm trying to get it all extended so I can braid it, put like sapphires and rubies in it, so I can have my top-notch flip-flop. No, that was a joke I told some people at work, because a lot of the girls at work, they're young and they have like extended eyelashes. But we should balance out that business and extended eyelash sales and start making big toe hair extensions.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And Tessa, can you come a little closer to the camera for me, please? We want everyone to see the beautiful Tessa. Brent's handsome mug's already close to the computer. So, okay, guys, we're back. And we're going to start off with a roundtable question given out by Mark. So let's start with Brent on that one.
Okay. Two-step. So only 2 steps.
Yeah.
'Cause I
So
like-
what do you what
No,
do
here's
you?
the second part of the question. So that's what he meant by that.
Yeah, it's a two-parter.
What are some of the steps you do?
To prepare for an role
prepare.
in an audition.
Okay. Well, I get the breakdown, and I so it's like a piece of paper telling you about the character. If you don't know, you guys do, obviously.
You know, okay, for people out there, a breakdown is they give you, when someone's going to audition, usually it starts with a breakdown where they have like a little mini bio and descriptive of the character that you're trying to audition for, so you can get some background knowledge on how to tackle it as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So once I have that, I use the Chubbuck way. So that's a acting method. So I pretty much see what the character wants, and I substitute people in my real life for a person in the script. And then I practice it a lot. The most important thing I do is I practice it before I go to sleep. And then when I wake up, I have it either memorized or almost memorized. And then let's say the acting or the auditions that day, I go in, I make a quick stop to the bathroom to practice my script once, then I go in, and then I'm good.
Now, Tessa, that first part, and then we'll come to the second part with Mark. First part, I know you haven't had a lot of that experience yet, except for auditioning for plays or theater. But there's 1,000 roads to Damascus. So Brent named a certain style, but there's a ton of ways of doing it from your hip, from Meisner, all sorts of vastly different ways. How do you think in your gut you would, if you had an audition tomorrow, you would tackle it? Or
well, I'd prepare and I'd stare at myself a lot in the mirror probably and try and do what I had to do, get into the character that somebody gave me. And
that's a good tool. It's a good tool to get into character, to try to, as you get into character, watch different facial mannerisms and stuff like that.
yeah, I don't know. And I've always been like, I have anxiety, so I usually replay a bunch of scenarios in my head. And like, so I don't know. I think I would do that.
I think all actors have anxiety.
Right. Well, I have anxiety and like, so I replay a bunch of stuff in my head and then I don't know. It usually helps if I would have an audition tomorrow, I'd like literally be in my bedroom for about 6 hours prior, 7 hours and just.
Hey, there's a lot of, believe it or not, I mean, I'm a loner. I know a ton of people, but I was a loner as a kid, loner most of my life. There's a lot of people that are artists and talented artists that are not the most socially skilled. One, in fact, I would say a lot of artists are like that. But it's because they have that inner focus and ability to stay absorbed in their own skin and their own shell.
Right.
That also provides usually a lot of that. So, what's the second part of that question, Mark?
What do you do to prepare? Well, first was for the role. Next is for the audition.
Right.
So you're
answer that. Shoot. Sorry.
Okay, so let's do the first part, which is what we didn't do. Once you have the role, what are some of the tool sets you use to prepare for that role?
Is this for me?
Brent.
So once I have the role, as in like I booked the audition and.
Yeah, and then now you're coming up on the shoot.
Well, I don't know. I'd look at the scripts. You look at the whole script. You always look at the whole script to see,
I agree.
Characters
you always read the entire script to see the context of everything.
So, yeah, so you're not missing out on anything. I don't know. You just really crack down on what the character wants and what you want.
So that's the style the guy you reference. I'm assuming because you said it twice now that his style is to take the role and figure out the wants and desires of that role, and that's how you build the character.
I don't know. This is just for me. This is how I do it. I don't know.
Well, you referenced the acting teacher. I was assuming that was what you were.
Oh, okay. That's what you're. Yeah. That's it's
the wants and desires. Figure out the wants and desires of the character, and then base everything on that.
Yeah, and you figure out what they want, what your character wants.
Yeah. So motivations, basically, the motivations of the character. Tessa, now, have you been reading that script I sent you?
A little bit, yes. When my kids aren't screaming and throwing Cheerios at each other, yes.
Yeah. Hey, but that's going to teach you a lot of the same skill sets you'll need when there's a camera in your face and a bunch of bright lights shining in your eyes and members running around outside of the little fantasy world that you're sitting in that you're supposed to make everyone else believe. So it's the same thing. It's the same skill sets. You got to be able to focus even with chaos running around you.
Right.
So what is let's go off of the whole film topic. What would you like to see? What is the biggest thing that you see in the world that you could change that would make it a better world? And we'll start with Tessa.
Hatred.
What is it?
Hatred.
Just try to get people to hate less.
Well, yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, right now we live in a world that's so fragile, and with how fragile everybody is, I'm surprised at how hateful they are.
You're talking about that kind of, especially the world has become this eggshell walk, where everyone
Yeah.
be politically correct and never say anything offensive, and
it's I find it extremely ridiculous, and I don't know, call me old school, but I miss the good old days when nobody actually, like, I mean, you know what I mean? Whenever
yeah, you could be more, but I'm still like that, so there are people still like that. I'm very blunt, direct, no
yeah,
time, because I think people need to get over that, because unless someone intentionally, because I think it's all about intentions. If someone intentionally says something to piss you off, then yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah.
right.
If they're not trying to piss you off and they're saying something you just don't like, let it go.
Right, exactly. I don't know. And I feel like the pressure's been extremely on to, I mean, you have to be different. You have to fit in, to the point now where everybody's like has their expectations of themselves so high that depression and all of that stuff is just a naturally occurring thing, especially for my generation and the generation after me, just because everybody's just constantly they're like eating themselves up in all of this hatred, and my feelings are hurt, and I let myself down because I dreamed for this but I didn't get up and do it, so now I'm just going to sit here and
Talked about this before, and you think it's because your generation and the generation under you, even though there's exceptions, have been coddled too much?
I think it's because our parents lied to us and told us that we could do whatever we could put our mind to, and in all reality we can't.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say you can't, but
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is,
it
like,
didn't prepare you that it requires a ton of work and sacrifice and all that stuff.
right, but what I'm also referring to is actually there's a stand-up comedian, I forgot his name, but he was like, you can only do about 7 or 8 things that you actually genuinely put your mind to. If somebody told you literally, and he used a couple cuss words, he was like, I'm gonna poop out my eyes, and you were like, okay, yeah, you go do that because you put your mind to it. There's literally physical things that you can't do even if you do it. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was like kind of eye-opening. That was a horrible example, but he used it because he's a stand-up comedian and he's extremely vulgar. But I was just like, yeah, that's true. So we set our expectations for stuff that only half of us are actually going to be able to achieve, and then the other half
She cut out.
constantly like, yeah, if you do this, this will happen and this will happen, and nobody actually achieved it because everybody was like, well, money grows on trees because mom and dad bought me everything, mom and dad sent me to school, mom and dad did this, and now I'm on my own and I can't accomplish anything by myself because I never actually genuinely knew how, so I'm going to go over here and attack this person who is doing it. And then it was like it's a vicious cycle of like,
no, I agree with you, because what it is you had whole generations. See, to me, the most important job of a parent is to prepare their child for reality.
right.
Yeah.
And none of our
Tool
parents
sets
did
to
that.
survive in the metaphorical jungle.
Right. And
a lot of generations, for a couple generations now, parents have not done that. They've done everything for their kids.
right. And I also think it's like, I
Exactly.
feel like every 3 or 4 generations it happens, because I feel like, okay, my parents were extreme hard asses, excuse my language again, but they were hard. I'm not going to do that to my child. I'm not going to have my child not believe in
We talked about this a couple episodes ago. Yeah, extremes of either side is never a good choice, but that seems to be what humanity does. They go from one extreme to the next extreme to the next extreme, instead of finding a middle ground of passionate and supportive, but at the same time teaching work ethic and consequences and
right.
choices and responsibility and all those things. But humanity has a tendency of going way over here or way over there, but the aftermath is society as a whole has to like deal with it. So
Right. And I'm actually reading a book on it. It's called Parenting with Love and Logic. And it's about how a lot of parents are either helicopter parents where they hover and they do everything for their kids, or they're extremely disciplinary parents and do the opposite. So they just scream at their kids and constantly just like, you know what I mean? And there's not a balance. So that's, I think, where it wavers, because one generation of parents was that, hard, extremely strict, tough love parent constant, and then the next generation was the helicopter, and then we just kind of go back and forth instead of doing what we need to do.
Yeah.
And giving
How about I'm a strict helicopter?
yeah, like nobody does that. Like I'll scream at my kids, and then 20 seconds later I'm singing them a night night song and rubbing their backs, you know what I mean? It's
Brent, what would you like to change in the world that you see?
Honestly, I just want people to do their part in society, I think. So like, whether it's picking up the trash that they littered, I don't know, or being kind. It's just sometimes I'm just disappointed.
Put an effort out.
Yeah, put just like care.
Minimum.
Just give a heck, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think the world, if people would just care,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of being so focused on their little myopic me.
Yeah.
And I think the easiest way to do both the things you're talking about is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Treat others as you'd have them treat you. I think if people just follow that rule, both of those things would probably happen. Because a lot of shady people, they don't follow that, because if anyone did to them what they're doing to a bunch of people, they would be irritated and roaring rage. You know what I mean? So it's a simple rule, but a lot of people, this is the one concept that I understood. The only thing about a trickle down theory that's true is whatever attributes or personalities your leaders show you tend to trickle down into behaving the same way. So if you constantly are berated with greed and me, let me get mine, whatever it is, you're going to eventually have the masses start replicating that behavior. You know what I mean? Because they're like, hey, our leaders are acting like that, then maybe we should act like that.
Put others first.
Huh?
Put others first, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the whole world would be a happier place if that was a truth. But if we can even change one person, man, then that's one more drop towards a good solution.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's been so awesome having you two. I think because of the holidays, I think we're going to cut this at an hour show. Still a great time, great energy, great event. You guys are both very talented people and spirits, and I've been happy to talk to you. And I think you guys are both going to accomplish amazing, great things, and especially in the near future for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Nicole's going to love you, and she'll either connect you with some people in the Minnesota area shooting films or help you herself. Then Brent, you got a bunch of stuff coming down the pipe, so it's beautiful. We're going to end with this thing that we always do. I want you each to give advice to someone that is trying to aspire to the same thing as you. What advice you would have for them? We'll start with Brent, and then we'll do Tessa.
My advice is you just got to put yourself out there and be your own manager. I don't know, do something where you'll get recognized, and then from there you'll just become famous. I don't know.
Okay, and Tessa, what about you?
don't let life knock you down.
Wait, say that again. Can you put the camera on her, Mark?
No, well, we're all it's all one group.
Oh, I see the little box that comes over and it starts. Okay, Tessa, say that again.
I said, don't let life knock you down.
Oh, okay. So you care to elaborate?
Yeah, as in like we all have dreams and goals, but the second you start letting life kick your butt and you let it stop you from doing what you want to do is the second that you're going to lose.
True. I think you talked about that. If you're going to do something, you got to be hungry and get up and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you get most of the successful artists I've ever known have failed a million times.
Exactly.
But the difference between them and someone else is they get back up.
Exactly. And there was actually this thing that I saw the other day that I thought was extremely powerful, and it said start every day with a task. So even if you don't accomplish the rest of your tasks in terms of your long-term goal, you can still come home after that fail and see that you've accomplished that one task. And once you get that one task down every day, you add another task on, and the more tasks you add on and are able to accomplish every day, the closer you're going to be to your goal.
Well, I've said that a ton of times. All great things are just a bunch of great little things put together.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you just keep stepping, you'll eventually get there. I've been writing and performing for 28 years. I've never given up. It did change from poetry to now film, but I've never, it's a part of who I am. I've never stopped believing, stopped having hope. And I just keep stepping. And here I am, close to my first major feature film of writing and directing. So if I'd given up at any point in these almost 3 decades,
Right.
I'd be right here, right?
Right.
Yeah, so true. And what do you think, Lola? You think that's true? Yeah.
I want to pet your dog so bad.
Yeah, you're like she was like actually half asleep, so she's looking more like
Oh, she mad at you.
I was comfy, buddy.
I'll fight you.
Okay, you guys, so give a big hand and beautiful blessings to Brent Anthony and Tessa Romero. We will, within the next couple of days, have the links or ways of supporting them and their aspirations put into the description of this show. But I want to give big blessings, big love, and extreme amount of faith, knowing that both of you are going to success in your aspirations.
Yeah.
Next week, John C. Hogwood, who's one of the most well-known decades now theater actors in Dallas, hardest working theater actor in Dallas, DFW. So we're going to bring all that whole theater, what it's like to live in the theater. And then Madeline Rosine, who's a amazing songwriter, singer, and coming up hard with her band. That'll be a great show next week. This would also be where I would, again, mention any sponsors once we start having sponsors, your business or product. But again, a big hand, a beautiful love to Brent Anthony and Tessa Romero. And thank you, Tessa, for filling in and coming and sharing your light with everybody. And then big thanks to Mark Potter, my co-host, who's always here doing his thing. And then, of course, Lola. Right, Lola? JD Glasscock, StormCrow, Dreamers talking to dreamers. Keep dreaming.